The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. This is Jay from Shopworks. Thanks for attending our webinar today. The subject is Get Your Orders Out Faster. This webinar should last about 45 minutes, I think. There'll be some time at the end of the webinar to ask questions. If you've never been to one of our webinars before, the way it works is that you can hear me. I cannot hear you. So if you do have a question that you'd like answered, just type it into your question pane that's on your screen. And like I said, I'll reserve some time at the end of the webinar to answer the questions. All of our webinars are recorded, and this will be on our YouTube channel by tomorrow if you want to review it or share with other staff members at your organization. So let's go ahead and get started today. And again, our subject is how to get your orders out faster. And let's first talk briefly about why this is so important. Time pressure is number one. Our industry has some unique aspects to it. Most of you are producing high volume of orders, and you're manufacturing, you're custom manufacturing, and you're doing that on short timelines, and that puts pressure on your business that most other small businesses don't have. So if you're running a donut shop or retail business or a restaurant, they all have their challenges, but our industry has some unique challenges. Obviously, quality matters. Our industry is very competitive, so you have to have quality products and you have to maintain speed while producing those quality products. The third thing is time equals money. So we've done some number crunching and found that about 50% of your time, of all your employees' time at your organization, is managing orders. That means everything from entering the order into a computer system to getting it out the door. So therefore, if you can reduce the time to do that, you're actually saving money. Of course, happier customers is important. As I mentioned, you guys are a very competitive industry. So if you can deliver your orders faster, you have happier customers, and that means you get more business. And the last one is kind of a newer one, as our entire country is facing kind of a labor shortage, labor problems. Here at Shopworks, we're hearing from our customers every day. This is the biggest challenge they're having, that and getting product. Getting product and retaining and getting good employees is the biggest problem. So faster order processing, if you can get that done, you're getting orders out the door sooner, and that means existing staff can be working on the next order. That also means you're more efficient, and you really should need less staff. So the idea is efficiency in general, and that's why we're looking at this subject today. Now, there's one thing I'd like to show you is the typical shop. So we get a lot of phone calls here at Shopworks where we meet people at trade shows from our industry, and when we talk to them and ask them, well, how are you currently processing orders? This picture I'm painting for you right now is what we hear probably 90% of the time. And so let me just kind of describe that real quick, and then I'm going to ask you to take a short poll for me. But so the typical shop is 3-part forms. They're still using paperwork to take orders. When they want to communicate, it's very paper driven or verbal. That's how communication is done. Things tend to get lost, and it's time consuming to change orders or to answer customer questions. And that's because if a customer calls and wants to know the status of their order, the salesperson or CSR has to get up from their desk, go talk to some people, or send some emails and wait for responses. And however they do it, it's kind of a slow process. The next step is production schedule, and what we see is that most people are not really doing great on their production schedules. They're doing them on magnet boards, spreadsheets. Sometimes they're using stacks of paper taped to a wall. I've seen many different methods. The real problem, though, is bottom line is no one really knows the schedule. And there's no predictive tools. There's no ways to predict production or really account for production in the typical shop. They just are kind of flying by the seat of their pants, if you will. Now, when the order's done, so the order does get done, and when it does get done, shipping information is typically entered into FedEx or some other shipping program. So that's an additional step. And then they're taking those orders and they're converting them to invoices, and typically QuickBooks, but we see other accounting packages as well. So, you're entering the data onto a form, then you're entering it into UPS, then you're entering it into QuickBooks. There's a lot of data entry, a lot of paper moving around. That's kind of what we see in these type scenarios when we talk to people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a quick poll here. So I'm going to take you a couple seconds. If you just go ahead and answer this poll, I would appreciate it. And the question is, how do you currently run your shop? And you have a couple different options there. Spreadsheets and or boards for production, QuickBooks or accounting, and just check off which one of these apply to you. And I'm going to go ahead. I see you guys answering. I appreciate it. Just wait for a couple. We got about half of you have voted, a couple more, and I'll close it, and then I'll share the results with you. So I'll close that in, let's say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll go ahead and close it. Let me close that poll. So let me just share the results with you. So 8% of you said you hand enter orders. 42% of you are using some sort of spreadsheets and or boards for production. 42% of you are using QuickBooks or something similar for accounting. 17% of you use e-commerce, and 67% are using some sort of something industry specific. So that's good compared to most of the people we talk to. We normally see a much higher percentage of hand entered orders or other things. So that's actually pretty good. So the typical shop, what are the problems with that? Well, as I mentioned, you're entering data manually into multiple systems. So that increases the amount of time. It also makes for errors. If you want to make changes to orders, it's difficult to do so. You typically have to go retrieve paper and re-edit it and then redistribute that paper. So again, labor intensive and errors. It's also very difficult for managers or business owners to get any analytics. So to really look at what's going on in their company, it's very difficult. The other part that's a problem is when customers call. So customers are going to call. Customers want to know the status of their orders. And in kind of a paper-driven manual system, it's very hard and it's very slow to get customers' answers. You have to get up from your desk, ask people questions, and then call them back or email them back. It's just very labor intensive. So the bottom line for your business, it's just you're spending too much energy. You're spending too much time chasing paper, and orders are taking too long to get out. So the subject of this webinar is, what are we going to do about it today? How can we fix this problem? And I'm going to show you some software here in 2 pieces of software. Actually, they're going to help solve these problems for you. But it's really going to focus on 3 components. Better workflow. And by workflow, our definition of workflow is everything it takes to get an order out the door. You've got the order and you want to get it out the door. How can we improve that process? Improved communication, again, a huge time saver, and that's internally and also to a customer. And then we're going to look at a third component, and that's customer self-service. Those are the 3 components we're going to focus on. And now I'm going to flip over to our Onsite software. And this is basically, it's Onsite is the name of the software. And this runs your entire shop. And just to give you, if you've never seen our software, across the top, these are departments. All of these departments are access controlled. So I'm logged in as a fictitious Jay Markinson, and Jay Markinson is an administrator. He has access to everything. But if I was logged in as a salesperson, I might only have access to sales orders or quotes or marketing. If I was someone in the accounting department, I might have only access to the accounting functions built within Onsite. So I just want you to know that these access control, not everybody has access to information, and you control what people have access to. One of the strengths of our system is better workflow, which is the first point I mentioned to you of how are we going to fix things. Better workflow. And just to show you some examples of how that works in Onsite, I'm in our orders section, and if I click under orders in progress, view all, I can see we're working on 194 orders right now. And for each order, I can see the order information, the company information, a design that's associated with that order. I can also see if the order's been invoiced or not, and order type. Order type is important. You'll be able to set that up. You can make these whatever you want, but I can see which orders are screen printing. Those are red, embroidery are blue. I have promotional products are green. I have digital printing. I have awards assembly. You can set up all these different types of orders to be configured for your company. So that's just kind of showing me all the orders I have. But if I want to see where the orders are in our status, I can click on this primary status, and I can see the status of every order in the system. And the beauty of these statuses is that they change real time as users are using the system. So as people are using the system, for instance, let's say purchasing is done on this first order here. This purchasing indicator would switch from no to partial or yes. And that's what our options are. No, partial, yes. Not applicable means that there's, for instance, this is subcontract purchasing. There is no subcontract purchasing for this order. And then we have the little white boxes mean that there's no line items or there are no items to be done for that. So those are the different statuses. Now I can sort by these, I can search on these, I can save stored finds, I can search by customer. There's a lot of functionality I'm not showing you. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of the process. But say, for example, another example of order workflow, and this one's gonna touch on the improved communication component of what we were talking about. Let's say a customer calls me, and it's one of my better customers called DC Special Olympics, and we do a lot of orders for them. And so they call me and they want to know the status of the order, or they call one of my employees and want to know the status of the order. I have a stored find. You can make these stored finds whatever you want. But if I click on this DC Special Olympics stored find, it immediately brings up all orders for DC Special Olympics. And I can see I'm working on 18 orders for them. Some of these are screen printing, one's DTG. I have some other order types like awards that we're doing for them. If I click on status, I can see the status of those orders. So I can see, is the design done? Is the art been approved? Is the order been approved? Is it purchased? Is it subcontract purchase? Has the receiving been done? Has the production been done? So if we look at this order down here at the bottom, this is an order I entered today, DC Special Olympics. You can see the design's been done because it was an older design, but nothing else has been done on that order. So let's go ahead and click on that order. And I just kind of want to show you, and this gets to the communication. If you want to know details on an order, I simply click on it to drill down. If a customer has a question on an order, I need to answer it, I can do that from here. And now that I'm in the order, I can see all the details. I can see date order placed, requested ship date. I can see the design on the order, including a thumbnail image of the design. I can also see all of the details of the design. So if this were something that had been printed in the past, I can see, in this case, ink colors. If it was embroidery, it'd be threads. If it was engraving, it would be other parameters. You can set up custom parameters for the different types of production. And you can see there's a lot of different production details I can store here. You don't have to store all these, but you have up to 5 other additional parameters you can store for each item. I can click on line items, and I can see the line items on this order. A couple things I'd like you to notice here is that because Shopworks only makes software for our industry, everything in it looks for our industry. For example, we have multiple sizes for each item. Those do not have to be entered onto a separate line. They can be entered onto a single line. But on this particular order, I have it's pretty straightforward. I have some t-shirts with some art and design. If I were looking at an awards order, I would see award items. And our system integrates with Sanmar, SNS, Alpha Broder. We have a live integration with those companies so that I can check on inventory, I can get real-time pricing, and I can issue purchase orders directly from the Onsite system. If I go to the shipping tab, this is where our system is fully integrated with a shipping system. So I can specify multiple shipping addresses. In this case, I only have one shipping address, but I could have multiples. And then I could specify that I want certain items of this 156. I want certain items to ship to one address and other items to ship to another address. We're also fully integrated with FedEx, UPS, DHL, and all the other United States Postal Service. Basically, almost any kind of shipping system or shipping company we're integrated with. And that integration is a two-way integration. And what that means is that when I'm in that software, I'm going to use UPS World Ship as an example, and I type in this order number, it will bring in the package track. It'll bring in the package address, I should say. It'll bring in the address. That's one way integration. The second way is the end of the day, when our UPS is closed out, Onsite will automatically import these tracking numbers. So if this order had shipped, these tracking numbers would be in here, and I would be able to email those to a customer from the system or just have them for reference. So we're fully integrated with shipping. We're fully integrated with other things too. One thing I didn't mention, on the integrations is if you're using Shopify, if you're using Bright Stores, if you're using Word, oh darn it, not Word, I want to say Word Perfect, but that's not it. But anyhow, we have lots of integrations. In fact, if you go to our website and we have an integration section. Now, Bright Stores is a new integration, so you won't see it on there, but you will see all of the different people that we're integrated with. And this list is growing. And so what that means is when you're taking orders from those websites, you're not having to manually enter them in there. This information could be automatically populated into your on-site system from your website. So that's an additional integration. So I showed you the shipping and how we're integrated with the different shipping methods. I want to talk a little bit about improved communication. So one of the problems of paper-based systems is, handwritten notes on orders are illegible, and they're also, if you need to change them, it's difficult to change them. So in Onsite, we have notes, and these notes can be to different departments. So for example, I'm going to put a note to purchasing, and I'm going to say, make sure to use Hanes Beefy only, no substitutions. Okay, so I'm going to send that to, and then to my purchasing, that was to purchasing. To production, I want to make sure, this customer is very particular, so I'm going to make sure design is printed 3 inches from the collar. Okay, I'm going to save that. So those are posted on the order. So you can see here, Jay Malanga, Jay Markinson rather, to production and to purchasing. I have 2 different notes. Now, where are those notes going to go? How does that work in the system? Well, number one is it's going to print on forms. So if you do use printed forms from our system, you'll see them. But it's also going to be seen when other people are using the system. So when the purchasing agent is using the system, when your person doing production is using the system, these notes are going to pop up on screen, and they're going to have those to reference. The analysis section, we've talked a little bit about analytics, how companies want better analytics in their company, and this is automatically tracked in our system as well. So you can see you have gross profit and net profit calculations, and some of these are predicted right now. We haven't purchased the product yet, but based on what we're thinking, we're going to have about a 55% margin. As we work on the order, as we actually purchase product, actual costs will go in there. If we were to subcontract out embellishment, that would be in there automatically. Commissions, inbound and outbound freight, labor, etc. All these costs are captured, and you actually have job costing on a per order basis in the system. Unlike other software, Onsite does have a fully integrated accounting module. So for example, if I'm on an order and I want to receive a deposit on this order, I can do that right from here if I have proper access rights. I can also do that from accounting, but again, that depends on your access rights. We can add attachments to an order. We can also, we have another piece of software called Proof Stuff, which is integrated with Onsite. And what Proof Stuff allows you to do is to send approvals to customers so that you have a track history of what customers have approved or not approved. In this case, I have an art approval. And if I want to see what that looks like, I simply click on it. And you can see this is my company logo, source logo. And I can see here the design. I'm getting them to sign off on the design. They have to approve or decline it. So I'm not going to act on this proof because I've sent it to my customer. I want him to act on it. So we have a whole art approval, and it also can be used for order approval system built into this. And you can print forms. Now, most of our customers are more digital than printed forms, but during your transition period, or if you still like to print forms, you can do that. You can print those right directly from your on-site system. So I'm showing you a lot of stuff here with order entry, but the key point I want to make here is how this improves your 2 things, your communication, because now nobody has to guess what's going on in an order. Nobody has to ask other people what's going on an order. If the system's used properly, anybody at your company can look at this screen and can see what's going on with this order. And if they want to, they can click on it and they can see the different areas. So if a customer calls and has different questions about line items or what items they ordered, or hey, did you receive our deposit yet? I might not be able to receive payments, but I can see them on this screen. And all these screens you can make either read only, you can make them editable, or you can make it so that your employee does not see them at all. So you have a lot of options there, but with proper access rights, your staff can see what's going on at all times. They don't have to talk to other people. So that's kind of the order entry component of it. Now let's go over to purchasing. And what does my purchasing person see throughout the day? Well, there's lots of different ways they can use the system, but one of the concepts we have in our system is what we call a queue. So if I go into purchasing, I want to do it by order. And just so you know, in our system, you can purchase by order, meaning you go to each order and do purchasing, or I can purchase by line item, meaning I can gang together like line items across many orders and bring those up in a bulk shipment. So for example, if I go by order all to purchase, this is everything in the system that I need to do purchasing on. Now, hopefully you're not going to have 163 orders, but you might. And I can simply go to that order and let's go to one that doesn't have any purchasing. Well, actually, let's go to today's order. So if I go down to the end, remember this is by order. So I'll see there's the order that we entered today for DC Special Olympics. And notice there's the note that my person in order entry had put. So, okay, make sure you use Hanes BVT only, no substitutions. Okay, got it. So I would go in here, I would simply click on the items that I want to purchase. I'd create a purchase order. In this case, I'm going to use Sanmar. And I'm going to go ahead and issue the purchase order. And at this point, I can check on pricing. I can also check on inventory levels, or I can send the purchase order directly to Sanmar. That's the integration component of it. But the point is, my purchasing person doesn't have to do any extra manipulations to find the orders that they're supposed to order. The system will keep track of which orders do not have product sourced on them yet, and that will appear in the production queue based on settings. The same thing is true of receiving. So in receiving, we have the same idea. My receiving person can receive by purchase order. They can receive by order. So I'm going to receive by purchase order. And if I say all not received, this is every PO in the system that has not been received yet. We have a PO number, which should be on the box. We have the vendor, what ship method, and they can click on it. They can see the details of that order, and they can receive items, return them to purchasing. There's different things you can do here. Now, these tasks can be done from here, but they can also be done from our touchscreen interface. I'm going to show you that here in a minute after I get to production. So if you think about it, this is kind of workflow up here, right? You got sales is when you enter an order. Purchasing is buying the goods. Receiving is receiving the goods. Production is producing your product. Shipping is shipping out the door, and invoicing is sending the invoice to your customer. That covers everything in workflow. So if I click over to production and I look by order all not produced, if I go down to the end, I mean, we have lots of orders in here that we're working on, but down at the end, you will see our DC Special Olympics order. Same thing is true for shipping and for invoicing. So this can all be done through our internal system as I'm showing you here, but it can also be done on your shop floor through a tool that we call a touchscreen interface. Many of our customers are using this on their production floor. So let me bring it up for you. So the order that we entered today was order 5886. So let's just clear that out. So the concept is that your person on the production floor would have this on a big screen in their production area, and they would simply scan the order. Oh, I already forgot the order number. So they would have a piece of paperwork and they would scan it with a barcode that comes on our forms. That would automatically be on the form, and it would just pull up the order in the system. Now we're in the production view of the order, but I also have a receiving view of the order. I have a shipping view of the order. So for example, if I was the person, and this is designed to not only be on your production floor, but to be in your receiving department, and to be in your shipping department. So imagine on your shop floor, you have a terminal for receiving, a terminal for shipping, a computer terminal, and then one or more on your production floor. So my receiving person would simply say, let me receive these items. But let's say they didn't receive all of them. They only received 120 of them because of a shortage. I'm going to go ahead and click on receive all, receive that 120, and now I can see that part of the order has been received and part of it is not received. Also notice that the order status was automatically updated, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the order status. The order is partially purchased, but it's also partially received. And again, everybody using the system can see that information. So that's the purchasing component of it. The receiving component, that's receiving by order. You can also receive by purchase order. And again, same thing with the barcode scanner. So a box comes in, you scan the paperwork with a barcode on it, has the PO number, and it will bring up the purchase order in the system. On the production component, now this order is not really ready to begin production because we haven't purchased everything, we haven't received the goods. So in this scenario, and I can see the notes here, make sure design is printed 3 inches from the collar, okay. I can see the different things that we're doing. We're doing screen printing twice, full front and full back, and then we're going to fold up the shirts. We're doing a folding process, and then that's when the order will be done. So if I go to screen printing, I can see I have a full front design that I'm printing. It'll show me the colors that I'm supposed to print. It'll show me the quantity that I'm supposed to print. If I go to full back, same thing. It shows me an image along with the colors and the quantity. And so as I'm doing these, let's just say I finished printing the front. I'm also going to log my time on the job. So I'm going to go to this little time tool. And I'm going to go ahead and you can clock in. Oh, that's my time card. I want to use my production log. So my production log, I want to say I printed. Okay. And I printed for, let's just say I'm going to type in, now you can do a start time, so I can just stamp it. In this case, though, I'm going to say I just worked on it for 1.5 hours. And the team that worked on that was the automatic press team. Okay. That was the team that worked on it. So the automatic press team is not one person, it's multiple people. And that's important because these hours, these labor hours, are going to feed into our job costing. And I've marked production on that particular item as being done. This one is not done, and this one is not done. So when I go to the order overview, notice that our production status has now changed because we partially produced the order. Okay, next step in the process is maybe a couple days later after we're finished with the order, somebody's going to ship the order. So from shipping, and again, you can ship full quantities or you can ship partial quantities. So let's say we're shipping 100 of them. And we're going to ship that. Notice that now my shipping status has changed from no to partial. So as people, again, as people being your staff, as your staff are using the system, the status indicators on the order are changing, and you're able to track, anybody in your company is able to track this workflow through your shop. In fact, if we go back to Onsite and we go back now to our status, notice our order. This is the order that we've been working on, 5886. And notice that these status indicators have automatically changed as you're using the system. Okay, so that's kind of the basics. And I know I'm going through this very quickly, but that's the basics of how an order is entered into our system, how it flows through the system, how users work with it, and then how order status changes. So if you can improve that whole process in your company, whether you're doing 20 orders a month, 100 orders a month, or 300 orders a month, if you can save 5 minutes per order, 10 minutes per order, 15 minutes per order, this time is adding up because you guys do a lot of transactions. If you're doing 100 orders per month and you're saving 15 minutes, that's what is that? 300 divided by 4 is 75. So you're saving 75 hours per month. 75 hours per month is a lot of labor. If you're only paying, let's just say you're paying $20 an hour, that comes up to, I think, $1,500 a month in savings right there. Now, the reality is your people are still going to be working, but the point is they can do more productive work than just pushing paper around. So it's not that you're trying to eliminate staff, it's that you want your staff to be doing the most productive work possible. And the most productive work possible is getting orders out the door, getting them produced and shipped and all these different things, not shuffling paper around or having to call customers back or getting up from your desk to go to talk to someone to find out the status of an order. All those things are wasted time. So the idea is to make your existing employees more efficient. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you is customer self-service. So what am I talking about here? Well, what I'm talking about here is, let's call this kind of like level 1 of communication. So now we have really good communication. We know internally at our company, we know what's going on with orders. If I need details, I can click on it. I can leave notes for other people. I can send proofs to customers. I can send email customers forms or invoices directly from the system. If a customer wants something, I can get it to them quickly. We're communicating internally really well. Well, so level 2 is customers or consumers. We like to help ourselves, don't we? So if you think about how you do your buying, when you're dealing with Amazon, if you have a question on an Amazon order, do you call Amazon to ask them what's going on with an order? No, that's ridiculous. You log into Amazon and you just click on My Orders and you see what the status is. Now, if it's something really messed up, yes, you might have to call Amazon. But 95% of the time, you're not having to call Amazon. And it's not just Amazon, it's our entire world. Our entire world is moving to where customers can help themselves, and consumers like to help themselves. They want to help themselves. So how can you do that? Well, with Onsite. Well, you don't want your customers logging in here and poking around. We know that. So our solution is a product called Manage Orders. And the way that Manage Orders works is it's not real-time data. It's synced every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, the Manage Orders website is updated from your Onsite system. And there's two ways customers can look at their order. They can simply type in an order number and an email address, and they can view one order only. But another option is they can actually log in. They can actually log into the portal or website. It's just a website. And so I'm showing you as DC Special Olympics. So I'm DC Special Olympics, and I've logged into the website. And I can see that I have 19 orders in progress. I have 11 orders that need payment. I have 2 orders that have open proofs, 2 orders on hold, and 4 orders in another status. So, and I can see the details of any of these orders. So let's go to page 2 here because I want to bring up the order we've been working with today. This is 5886. And you can see that this order, it must have recently been updated within that 15 minutes because I can see here purchasing status, receiving status, production status, and shipping status. The customer can see that. They can see where their order is and how it's been done. They can see if their payment's been received. They can see dates. They can see all kinds of information, shipping information. They can see package tracking information. Now, we don't have any on this order, but if it were here, they'd have a clickable link. They'd be able to see the packages and click on them. So this allows your customers to log in and check the status of their own orders. Now, you control how this looks. So obviously this would not be source logo. This would be your company logo. You control the color scheme. You control what information shows on screen. You might have certain statuses you don't want to show the customer, or you might have certain information you do or don't want to show your customer. That's up to you because this is all configurable for your company. But not only can the customer answer their own questions, they can actually pay for orders. So for example, on this particular order, we have an option of pay with credit card. So they can pay with credit card, or we can pay with an electronic check. So if we want to allow them, and these are options, you can shut these on or off based on how you like to do business. So, and these, all of this is completely integrated with your on-site system. So let's say you take a payment on Manage Orders. That payment will then go into your on-site system automatically. It would come over here, and then in your accounting department, if I were to go to payments, I would see that payment in this list of payments. So I would see that payment in here, whether it was a check or a credit card. Once the payment was processed, it would come into your on-site system and it's automatically applied to the order. So this is taking your customer service to a whole nother level. So you allow your customers to help themselves. Now, obviously, if they have a big problem with something, you're going to want them to call you. But for 99% of the cases, normal run-of-the-mill orders, your customers are going to be able to help themselves and get information themselves. And not only does that make your customer happier, but it keeps you from having to service them verbally. So that's saving you a phone call, saving you from, maybe getting up from your desk, having to ask questions, whatever process you're currently going through. This is taking your customer service to the next level. Okay, so what's the end result of using Onsite, of all this stuff that I've shown you? What's the end result? The end result is you can deliver orders faster, you can lower your labor costs, and if you know your business, you know that labor cost is your biggest cost in your business. You have happier customers, you have happier employees, and I don't need to tell you how important it is to have both of those, especially these days with labor shortage. Happy employees is good for your business. And you can get fast business analytics for managers and owners. Now, I haven't even shown you that yet, but I'm just going to give you kind of a taste of it. And I know everything today has been very fast, so I'm going to give you an offer. If anybody would like a demonstration, we're available to do that for you. We're able to show you in detail how Onsite can work for your business. And I'll show you in a couple minutes how to do that if you'd like. But just to show you quickly some analytics, if I go to this analysis section, I can say, for example, show me everything that was invoiced, let's say, last year. So I got 48 orders. Hopefully you're doing more than 48 orders per year. So let's say this was a month. For each of these orders, I see the invoice totals, which is great. But if I go to this analysis summary, oops, I got to sort by order type. And now I'm going to go to analysis summary. I'm actually seeing, and this is real-time data, so I can look at it on a monthly basis. I'm quickly seeing how many orders and how much sales we're getting for each type of embellishment that we're doing. Okay, I can also click on job cost, and this is actually showing me if I'm making money on every single job or not. And I can see profit margins, etc. And as I mentioned before, this is, if I click on it, you'll take you to the order, you'll have your details. This is taking into consideration all these different factors: royalties, product, subcontracting, commissions, in and outbound freight, and miscellaneous costs linked to an order. So this is just a very powerful tool as a business owner or a manager of seeing very rapidly what's going on with your business. If you're doing things with QuickBooks only, or if you're doing things manually, you have a lot more data entry and stuff you have to do before you can get these kinds of numbers. So, okay, so that's it for my stock presentation today. I'm going to start opening the floor to questions. If you have any questions, please type them in. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on the questions, I just want to tell you a little about Shopworks, the company. None of our software is generic, like a QuickBooks. Generic, I mean, is for multiple industries. Everything that we've done in Onsite and all of our products is specifically for our industry, which means screen printers, embroiderers, promotional products, digital printing, awards and recognition. If you put a logo on something, if you buy something and put a logo on it, then our software is going to work for you. We also do fulfillment as well. We've been in business since 1998. We have over 1,300 installations in that time frame. You're unlikely to outgrow our software. Our customers range from 1 to 100 concurrent users that are using the system at the same time. So very unlikely you outgrow our software. And maybe most importantly, all of our support is US based. We can get you up and running in about 30 to 45 days. And we help you through the entire implementation process. This is not software that you just download it, install it, and you're off and running by yourself. We actually help you configure it for your business. We help you import data if you like, and none of that is at additional cost. There's no additional cost for these services. So it's just part of our package. If you would like more information or would like to evaluate Onsite, we're a very soft sell type company. We'll be happy to meet with you and answer real questions about if our software is going to work well for your business. We can model it for your business. And this is our website, shopworks.com. And if you go there, you can just simply click on this. Oops, where did it go to? You can simply click on this little request an evaluation button, fill out a quick form, and we will schedule a webinar when it's convenient for you. So that's it for my spiel. Let me get to answering some questions for you. Gloria asks, with Inksoft orders, can we combine multiple orders and have them decorated and invoiced on one order? So Gloria is referring to our Inksoft integration. So we have an integration with Inksoft, which is another industry-specific shopping cart type solution. And we're integrated with it, which means the orders from there go directly into our system. So her question is, can you combine multiple orders on the Inksoft side into one order in Onsite? Gloria, I don't think you can. I think it's an order by order basis. So if an order comes from Inksoft, it becomes an order in Onsite. You could reach out to support as well to see that if that's possible. But I'm pretty sure it's just one order. An order in Inksoft becomes an order in Onsite. Curtis asked, how well does this work for a shop that does 95% contract work? Meaning Curtis's question is, he's a subcontractor, meaning he's dealing with other shops. That's who his customers are. And Curtis, the answer is great. I mean, very, very well. We have many, many customers who are mostly just contract shops. And if you contact us through the website, we'll be happy to do a demo for you and give you some references of other customers who kind of do what you do. He also asked, Curtis asked, can you assign jobs to a certain press? So how busy you are by press? Yes. And again, this is a webinar, so I can't get into a lot of details here. But one of the things you have in our system is a calendar. So I can go to this calendar, and now we're looking back in time at October 2021 because I have data in there. So I'm looking at a production calendar, and I can see my production calendar by event, which is basically like by department. So screen printing, embroidery, folding, digital printing. But I can also do it by machine. So I can see what jobs are scheduled on which machine, and I can actually filter by that. So if I go down here to my what we call schedule screen, I can see that's just one machine. Okay. Anything on here in red is going to be late, so I need to make some adjustments there. But I can even drill down even further. So I can click down to a weekly view. And when I do that, notice I start getting times. These are estimated times to produce the jobs. And I can quickly switch between weeks. I can quickly, if I'm back out here and I want to see schedule screen, I want to see a different screen printing machine. Let's say I want to see my M&R 12 color. I can see what jobs are on that. You can switch back and forth between machines. There's a lot of production tools built into Onsite that I'm not really showing you today, but certainly we can show you that if you want to do a more in-depth dive on it. Ryan asks, is the customer portal an add-on feature? Yes, Ryan, it is an add-on feature. In fact, if you go to he's asking about manage orders. Manage orders is the customer self-service. So if you go to manage orders, I think it starts at $169 a month for manage orders. But if you go down here and there's a pricing PDF, if you click on that PDF, you can download all the details of this document. You can download how it all works, and it also has pricing in here. So it is an add-on price. It's actually cheaper than that. So 1 to 5 users is $99. Users means how many users you have in your on-site system, not how many customers are using it. It's unlimited customers can use it. It's just based on your user count. So most of our customers, you're probably going to be in the 99 to 199 category. There's a discount if you're using proof stuff as well. So yes, that is part of the package there. Or excuse me, not part of the package, it's an add-on. Excuse me. Jenma asked, Jay, do you integrate with common SKU, and how does that work if so? That's a great question on the common SKU. So one of the benefits of managed orders, in addition to being a customer portal, is it has an open API. And what that means is that you can use any software you like, including common SKU, to send your orders through manage orders and into your on-site system. So on our partner page, if I go over to integrations, you can see all the integrations. Those are integrations we've built, but not listed on this page is our open API, which is available to any software program you use. So if you're using common SKU and you want to send orders into our system, you can do that, and you'll do that using the Manage Orders API. That's how you would do that. Ryan asks, is there an option to export invoices to QuickBooks? We're not integrated specifically with QuickBooks. I mean, you could certainly export data from our system to QuickBooks, but we would probably recommend 90 to 95% of our customers use our accounting. And the reason why is because they find that even though it doesn't have as many bells and whistles as QuickBooks, it's much easier to do things in our system. There's no having to export, there's no having to APIs or anything like that. An order in our system just becomes an invoice. So if we go back out here to invoicing, we're simply converting these orders to invoices, and they're already in our system. And you can go back and forth. You can uninvoice it, reinvoice it, make adjustments, do what you need to do. So that's kind of the answer on that one. Jamie asked, does your system integration with apparel suppliers apply to their Canadian divisions as well? Or is the tight integration only for their US divisions? Yeah, Jamie, unfortunately, and we have many Canadian customers. Unfortunately, right now, I think S&S works with US and Canada, but I know that Alpha Broder and Sanmar do not. But that's not on our end. That's not because we refuse to do it, just so you know. That's because there's either some legal or technical limitation of why they're not doing that in Canada. So I would reach out to your Sanmar, reach out to your Alpha Broder or other suppliers and say, hey, we want the Canadian APIs as well. I don't see a reason why there's no technical reason why those don't exist. As I mentioned, we have it with S&S. So they've embraced that. And I think that the word I've heard is that Sanmar is working on it, but I don't have a time frame for when that might be done. So, okay. That's it for the questions. I want to thank everybody for your time today. Again, this will be posted on our YouTube channel, which is Shopworks Software. If you just type in Shopworks Software on YouTube, and you'll find us there pretty easily. And this will be on there tomorrow. If you have any questions, please email me directly, jay@shopworks, shopworks.com. Or if you'd like a demo, also feel free to go to our website, where you can register by clicking on the request evaluation button. But thanks again for your time today. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and we will see you in the next webinar. Thank you.